English poet William Blake was once quoted as saying, "Great things are done when men and mountains meet." And Phillip Jackson Baugh Jr., Jack, has met many mountains. Jack's list of accomplishments would impress just about anyone. An accomplished businessman, former U.S. Air Force jet fighter pilot, world-class standardbred horse breeder, North Carolina legislator, and chairman of the board of 2 universities and many nonprofit organizations. But no matter whatever else he was involved with, the closest thing to his heart was flying. Jack was born in 1932 to his parents Phillip Jackson and Frances Jones Baugh in Charlotte, North Carolina. His love of flying started when he was just a young boy. He was among a group of friends who were avid model builders, and Jack led the group in building a full-size glider. The plan was to try to push it off of a hill with Jack as the pilot. Fortunately, a local neighbor who was also a pilot caught wind of the plan and stepped in as the test pilot. Jack was offered a ride in a real airplane and got his first flying lesson at Plaza Airport in Charlotte when he was 12. At 16, he was a licensed pilot. After high school, he first attended North Carolina State College to study engineering, thinking he would like to become a doctor. Jack then transferred to Duke University and entered the Air Force ROTC program. He graduated from Duke on the Dean's List in 1954 with an AB degree in psychology and was commissioned as a second lieutenant in the United States Air Force Reserve. He participated in the Air Force pilot training program at Graham Air Base in Marianna, Florida, where he finished first in his class and received an Award of Merit. Commissioned in the Air Force, he graduated first in his class at Graham Air Base and rose to the rank of captain. He served as a jet fighter pilot before his honorable discharge in 1962. Jack began his business career as an executive in the textile industry in North Carolina, eventually merging 3 textile companies to create P.J. Baugh Industries. But Jack continued his love of flying, and in particular, sailplanes. That brought him into contact with an aircraft designer named Leonard Niemi in 1963, a meeting that would change the world of competition soaring. Niemi had designed a sailplane that people at home could build, but after the prototype's first flight, he decided to sell it as something other than a kit or plan to home builders. Instead, Niemi modified the design for production as a finished, ready-to-fly sailplane. He changed the designation to Shih-Tzu 1A. Niemi set up the Arlington Aircraft Company in Texas to manufacture the craft. Construction began on the first 4 sailplanes in 1960. Pilots quickly snapped up the finished aircraft, but production costs surpassed profits, and Niemi turned to Jack for help to turn things around. Jack and Niemi moved the factory to Greenville, South Carolina in 1963, and Jack underwrote the production costs of 6 more Shih-Tzu aircraft. On July 31, 1964, Alvin H. Parker took off from his hometown, Odessa, Texas, at the controls of his aircraft, registration number N1100 Zulu, and flew for 1,042 kilometers, or 647 miles, a world record distance. The flight shattered a symbolic and psychological barrier that had defeated sailplane pilots worldwide for years. The aluminum and composite Shih-Tzu 1A recaptured the world's free distance record and the world's distance to a predetermined goal record of 490 miles from Germany and Russia, respectively. Jack would purchase the record-breaking aircraft and donate it to the National Air and Space Museum of the Smithsonian, where it now hangs, cementing its place in American aviation history. While it was a record-breaking plane, profits never covered expenditures, and the last Shih-Tzu would be built in 1965. Jack would also own one of these aircraft. He donated it to the Aviation Museum of Kentucky, where it is now on display. Jack's love for the world of horse breeding and racing took him and his family to Lexington, where he became a global leader in standardbred harness racing with the purchase of Almahurst Farm in Nicholasville, Kentucky in 1963. Almahurst would eventually be known as the largest harness horse racing farm in North America. It became the leading breeder of average money winners per start in the United States and breeder of 2 world champions in 1972. Jack served as the president of the United States Trotting Association, earning multiple awards for his contributions to the industry, including Horseman of the Year. While at Duke in 1953, Jack met and married his first wife, Patricia Jean Myers, with whom he was blessed to have had a son and 3 daughters. Heartbreakingly, Patricia died in 1984, and in 1986, Jack married his second wife, Laura Jane Kelly, adding 4 sons to the family. Jack was an inspiring, engaging father, grandfather, and great-grandfather. While Jack had a love for flying, he did have a greater love for his family. It is therefore fitting that Phillip Jackson Jack Baugh Jr., whose leadership with the production of the Sitsu 1A, which would become one of the most successful American competition sailplanes ever flown, be enshrined in the official Aviation Hall of Fame of the Commonwealth of Kentucky.